everyone. Thank you so much for coming today. Thank you for everyone for joining us online. Just a reminder that yoga does its best work when your body feels safe. So please always be more aware of how a pose feels in your body today than how it might look on me or look on the person next to you, or even how it looked in your body last week, right? We want to honor where we are in our overall practice, and then you want to honor also where you are today, right? We'll start seated. Lots of options here. You can have feet under opposite knees. You could have feet, legs apart a little bit if that's more comfortable. If you have a prop or at home, if you have a cushion, you can always sit on top of something to bring your sit bones up a little bit. If you have real open hips, you can stack your heels, bringing your right heel into your center line first and then your left. What's important is that your sit bones feel even on the floor and your spine feels long. And for today, let's put our hands on the ground next to us. We had Earth Day this week. It's nice to feel supported by the earth. Sometimes I like to think of, so I grew up on a farm and we had a big red barn and we had a lightning rod on the top of it, right? Sometimes I like to think of my hands like that in this pose. So if you have any excess energy, electricity, sometimes that can be anxiety or worry or anger or restlessness. If you're having problems sleeping, this can be a nice tool to have in your back pocket to use. You just imagine kind of gathering up that excess energy and sending it into the ground using your arms like lightning rods. Big deep breaths in and out through your nose using the full range of your lungs. Feeling your body expand front to back and side to side with each inhale. And let that breath be curious today as it's expanding your body. How does your body feel? Do you have any areas that feel especially compressed or especially spacious? You might have some areas that feel heavy or light, or full or empty. Sometimes I like to compare my right side to my left side. See if your shoulders feel the same or if your hips feel the same. No judgment. We're just noticing. We're just paying attention. And then just like we checked in with the body, we check in with our minds. What is happening there today? Just notice. There's a to-do for later. There's a thought about something that happened earlier. Meditation is just the separation. It's just the observing of the thoughts. You don't have to have a clear head. You can watch a whole bunch of thoughts. That still counts. Let's bring a little bit of movement into the body, starting with the head. Let the head fall front to back and side to side. You can turn the head side to side. You can take the chin forward and back. Just whatever gently and consciously brings space to your neck. Nice and easy, no pain in the neck. Bring the head back to neutral. Bring your shoulders up by your ears. And then take a couple breaths to release them down. Really take your time and try to make that release as smooth as you possibly can so it's not just a big jolt on the shoulders. When you think you're all the way down, there's probably a little more to go. Give the shoulders a little shake. Notice how long your neck feels. And then inhale length into your spine. On the exhale, we're going to twist to the right. I'll mirror you. So if you're here, we're twisting towards the water. It's real important to use the breath here. So every inhale, you get a little bit taller. Top of your head pulls a little more towards the sky. And then on the exhale, you can twist a little more. And maybe it's just half a millimeter. You just want your energy to go up on the inhale and then over on the exhale. The length of the spine is real important here. Your belly is pulled in like 50%, right? Enough to support your low back. Nice time to check in with your jaw. Make sure you're not holding any extra tension there. On your next inhale, we'll come forward. Lengthen the spine. And the next exhale, twist to the left. And same thing, really using the breath here. Inhaling length, exhaling depth. One more breath here. Bring the torso back to neutral. We're going to straighten the legs. Legs can be straight forward. They can be a little bit out to the side if that's more comfortable for you. Inhale, lengthen to the spine. And exhale, fold forward, leading with the heart. So we're looking to get into the back of the legs. You might not go very far forward, and that is A-okay. Keeping the spine long. And sometimes I like to add a little bit of movement in these forward folds. You can take your feet and small windshield wipers. You can point and flex the feet. Maybe you just wiggle the toes. I find in my body anyways that sometimes just a little bit of movement can remind my body that it's safe. This allows it to loosen up a little bit. Perfect. Push your hands down into the mat or your legs to bring yourself vertical. We'll cross the legs again. Big hands spread nice and wide on the mat in front of you. We're going to come up into a tabletop. So hands under shoulders, knees under hips. You can have your toes tucked for some extra stability, or the tops of the feet can be on the floor, whatever you prefer. And start sending the weight a little bit forward and back here. Noticing how that feels in your wrists. You can send the weight a little to the right and then forward and then left and then back, making a few circles counterclockwise. And then switch direction. So back to the right, back up to the left and forward. And then from your neutral tabletop, we'll go through a few cow cats. So on the inhale, belly drops towards the mat, hips and head float towards the ceiling. And on the exhale, the back of the heart floats. Hips and head hang heavy. Maybe you want to stay here for a breath or two. Let gravity make your neck longer instead of shorter like it does most of the day. Might feel nice to turn the head a little side to side here. You can open and shut the jaw a few times. Maybe move the jaw a little side to side once it's open. Work some tension out there. Continue movement when you're ready. Inhaling, lengthening the front body. And exhaling, lengthening the back body. So back and forth at your own pace. If you'd like to add a little bit of your own movement here, you can sure do that. You can take the hips and the shoulders, maybe in a little more of a spiral or a little side to side. Just whatever feels really nice in your body instead of using your body to get into the pose. Use the pose to get into your body, right? How would your body like to be moved today? I think that's one of the biggest and best benefits of yoga. You just get a little more connected. What's your body in the mood for? Come back to neutral. Take that right leg straight back with a flexed foot, like you're going to shoot a laser beam out of your heel. Nice and strong here. And then give yourself a few pulses towards the ceilings. Working a little bit on some strength and then some core work to keep you balanced here. And then we'll take that right leg over to the left, turn the head and look towards the foot. So this is lengthening the right side body. We lengthen our bodies and create space with the pose, and then we also do it with our breath. So send your breath into the right side of your belly. You're making some room for your organs to do their jobs. Turn your head towards the floor. Take that right leg straight back again, and we'll set the ball of the foot on the floor so that right leg is still straight. And then we're going to rock a little forward and back. So getting into the right calf muscle. By the way, if your wrists are starting to get tired, you can put them in fists on the floor instead of having your hands flat. So your wrists are straight. Then you can still work on arm and core strength without hurting your wrists. Perfect. Bring that right knee next to the left. Separate them so they're hips width distance. Maybe actually let's go a little bit wider towards the end of the mat. Bring the big toes together. Set the hips back on the heels and come down into a child's pose. You could even support yourself on your forearms if you like and let the head hang heavy. You can bring chest and chin to the floor, maybe the forehead to the floor, anywhere in between. Our goal is to, one, give your wrists a break, and two, to bring some space into the low back. So whatever variation you'd like for your upper body is up to you. But bring your attention to your back, and as you inhale, feel your low back expand. It's an area of our bodies that can get so compressed in daily life. It only gets attention when it demands it, right? One more breath here. Come on back to your tabletop. Fingers spread nice and wide, or like I said, you can be on your fists too. We'll take that left leg straight back with a flexed foot. And then give yourself some pulses here. You can come down a little bit from center. You can just pulse on the top here, whatever helps make your leg feel super strong and long. Top of the head pulling forward. using strength and not momentum, right? So we're not just throwing our leg up in the air. Really strong and slow. So at any point, you could stop on a dime right there, right? And then let's open up the left side body. So take that left leg back over to the right, turn the head, look at the foot, and send your breath into the left side of your belly. Even think of pulling that left hip a little back and the left shoulder a little forward. Really lengthen out that side body. One more breath here. Bring your face towards the center of the mat again, and that left leg straight back with the ball of the foot on the floor, and we'll rock a little forward and back, getting into that left calf muscle. Recently wore, it's being springtime, I recently wore flip-flops for a whole day, and my calf muscles were like, what is going on? They forgot how to hold them on. All right. Left knee next to the right, hips width distance. Let's come up to our knees. Release your arms out to the side, give them a few spirals, give your wrists and fingers a few stretches from holding weight for a while. And then let's say hello to our hips today. So we'll bring our right leg forward. So everything's in 90-degree angles to start. Right toes spread nice and wide on the mat. Tops of the left toes pushing down into the mat so you feel really strong and steady. And we're going to sink the hips forward. So our goal is to create space in the left hip flexor here. There's that area that can get short when we sit. You can have your hands on your thigh here. If you'd like to get a little bit deeper, I'll give you some other variation options. You can bring your hands to the floor if you're not too sick of having weight on them yet. Tuck the back toes and slide that left knee a little back. If you'd like, you could even have both hands on the inside of that front foot for a lizard. And the option here to come down to your forearms. Whatever works best in your body today. Remember, it won't open if it doesn't feel safe. So no pain. If you get to the point where you're starting to feel some pain, you want to back off like 10%. Big, deep, controlled breaths, no matter where you're at, in and out through the nose, using the full range of your lungs, but slow and controlled. So no sudden inhales or exhales, like an ocean wave, right? Soft face, soft jaw, lots of control. Fantastic. And then from here, you're going to ground your left hand to the inside of the right foot and open up the right arm to the sky for a twist. Can give that right wrist a few more circles if you like. Could feel good. Turn towards the floor, send the hips back, straightening that front leg for a half split. Hands could be up here on the thigh. Hands could be on the floor. Fingertips could be on the floor. So in any forward fold like this with a straight leg, right, you can control, you have 4 levers you can pull here to change how the pose feels. You can flex or point the foot a little bit more. You can decide if there's a little baby bend in the knee. You decide how heavy the torso is, and you decide how heavy your head is. Using those 4 areas, you make the pose work perfectly for you today. If all of your sensations in the knee, what happens if you put a little bend in it? Does it allow you to get into the belly of that thigh muscle a little bit more, right? Your next inhale, the hips will come forward, arms come up, little back bend here. Feels good. On the exhale, frame the front foot with the hands, tuck the back toes, step back to plank. We're going to slowly lower down here with lots of control. You're welcome to bring your knees down first if you like. Or you can leave them up the whole time, whatever's feels best in your body today. We're coming all the way to the floor. Bring your elbows under your shoulders. Flip the feet. Hands push in and pull the upper body forward and up for Sphinx. Tops of the feet push into the mat. So your kneecaps are probably off the ground, at least light, depending on how your legs are built. So actively pulling forward. Like if your mat was made out of paper, it would wrinkle under your belly. And then a little treat for our necks again. So on the inhale, we look a little bit up. On the exhale, let the head hang heavy. Back and forth with your breath. Now, if you really like a little extra challenge here, it's kind of fun to work on for coordination and just to remind your body that parts can move separately. Open your eyes to a soft gaze while you're doing this and move your eyes opposite of how your head's moving. So when your head is down, when your chin is towards your chest, you're looking forward, you're looking in front of the mat. And then when your head comes up, you're looking down. So your eyes actually kind of stay at the front of the mat the whole time, just beyond it, while your head moves. Right? So many times in modern life, you look down at something and your head follows, and then your shoulders follow, and then we end up being all hunched over at the end of the day. But your eyes could just look down by themselves, right? Your shoulders don't have to always follow. On your next exhale, bring everything down to the ground. Bring your hands under your shoulders, tuck your toes, push yourself up to tabletop, and then let's raise our hips for a downward dog. So downward dog is a back stretch first. We're looking for a nice long line from your fingertips to your tailbone. There's going to be a little bit of a pull from your chest to the fronts of your ankles. It doesn't matter if your legs are bent or straight. It doesn't matter if your heels are to the floor or not. It's the long back that matters. And from here, you might want to find a little bit of movement. You can bend one knee at a time. Maybe look under the opposite arm. You can shake and nod the head. And from here, we'll bring our knees to the mat again. Come on up to a kneeling mountain. And then let's get into our hips on the other side. So left leg forward. Sink the hips forward, bringing space to the right hip flexor. This is a great option. You could bring your hands to the floor and bring that right knee a little back, or a runner's lunge. You can bring both hands to the inside of the front foot for a lizard. Option to be on the forearms here. And it's okay if this side is different than the other one. It's okay. We're not all symmetrical. No big deal. Big, deep, controlled breaths. In and out through the nose, full range of your lungs, soft jaw, soft face. I know I say that a lot, but I'm hoping that it comes to you when you need to breathe, when you need to relax off the mat, right? Fantastic. Adding a twist here. So ground that right hand, take the left to the sky. Maybe your left wrist would like some circles here. Your fingers would like some stretches. Maybe you have some good cracks that would like to get out. Turn back towards the floor. Bring the hips back. Straighten the front leg. Half splits over here. Again, using your ankle, knee, hip, and neck to adjust the pose to work perfectly for you today. One more breath here. And the next inhale, we bring the hips forward, arms up, little back bend. And exhale, frame the front foot with the hands, tuck the back toes, step back to plank, lower all the way to the floor. Inhale, we push up into a low cobra. Exhale, lower down, tuck the toes, push yourself to tabletop, and then a downward dog, lifting the hips. From your downward dog, we walk our hands back to our feet and give yourself a nice restorative forward fold with bent knees. You could have your elbows on your knees. You can have your hands on your knees. Maybe the hands are to the ankles or the floor. And let's send the weight a little forward and a little back. It's getting into some different parts of the low back and the glute muscles with a little bit of movement. And then from here, slowly root into the ground to rise up to standing. Arms can come out and up. Hands together, gaze at the thumbs. Bring the hands to heart center and then to your side, mountain pose. So feet hips width distance, spine nice and tall, breaths big, shoulders relaxed. And we'll take a big step forward with our right leg. Take that back heel to the mat, and you're going to have that left foot a little bit out to the side. So like at 10:30, right? Front knee bent, warrior one. So in warrior one, your shoulders are towards the front. That comes from a twist in your hips and a twist in your belly. Your back knee should feel just fine. If it doesn't, you can twist the hips a little less and the belly a little bit more, right? You've got lots of room to maneuver here. You can also take that left foot a little out to the left. No rule saying you've got to be on a tightrope here, right? Your feet can be separated a little more. Okay? Interlace the fingers behind your back, straighten the arms, open the heart and throat forward, keeping a bend in that front knee. Gazing up towards the sky, if that's okay on your neck today. And notice here, without looking, where the weight is on that front foot, right? You want it to be even left to right. So you know that that knee is going straight forward, not caving in or caving out. Strong and straightforward. On your next exhale, we hinge at the waist to bow. You might look something like this. It might be down a little further. wherever you're at today. So you can bring the arms up. You can hang the head heavy. You can rest the torso right on the thigh if that's accessible to you. Always all right. Might help to change the grip of the hands a little bit too. That's more comfortable. Next inhale, come back to standing. Release the arms. Bring them to your sides. Engage the arms, spread the fingers. Balance pose for class, going into a warrior three. So a little kickoff with that back leg. Move to the middle of my mat here. Baby bend in the standing leg, back toes towards the mat. Arms behind you, right? When you extend that back leg back, maybe your warrior three looks like this. Nice long line from the left toes or left heel to the top of the head. Maybe you hinge a little more. It looks more like this. Right? Anywhere in between, wherever you're at today. Super strong and controlled. Anywhere in between. Go ahead and step back to your warrior one and step the front foot back to meet the back. Do a few sun breaths here. Inhale, arms out and up, hands together. Down to heart center and to your sides. Inhale up. Exhale, heart center to the sides. Inhale up. Exhale, heart center into your sides. Big step forward with the left foot. Warrior one. So again, that back heel is on the floor. Right toes will be at 130. Bend in that front knee. Interlace the fingers behind the back. Straighten the arms. Open the heart and throat forward. Sending your breath into the chest, so we're expanding the stretch from the inside. Next exhale, bow. Maybe a little, maybe you're right here. Maybe a little more. Wherever you're at today, nice and safe. Next inhale, hinge back up. Hands to the side, arms engaged, going into your warrior three over here. Right? So little kickoff with the back leg. Toes towards the floor, so our hips not open to the side. Square to the mat. Top of the head pulling forward. Foot pulling back, foot flexed. Your warrior three might look like this. This is a great place to be. Maybe the toes are just hovering over the floor for a little bit today. Maybe the whole body hinges. Big, deep, controlled breaths in and out through the nose, full range of your lungs. Great job, everyone. Big, graceful step back. As graceful as you can, right? We're going to make our way to a seat next. So you can bring maybe both feet up and then make your way down, however you want to get there. Bring the soles of the feet together for Baddha Konasana. If the feet are closer to your pelvis, it will be a little more challenging. If they're further apart, a little less challenging. It's all based on how your hips are built. No big deal. Wherever you're at is the right place to be. No pain. Let your knees be heavy, not pushed down, just heavy. You're getting out of the way of gravity, right? If your feet are within easy reach, you can give the bottoms of your feet a little bit of love. Sometimes you might have a little area that could use some attention and you didn't even know. And then we'll inhale, lengthen the spine, and exhale, fold forward. You might be here, hands on the floor, maybe nose all the way to the toes, anywhere in between. Nice long spine we're going for here. Leading with the heart, and again, just letting everything be heavy, not pushed down. One more breath here. Push your hands down into the mat or your legs to bring yourself vertical. Take your hands to the outside of your knees and close your legs like a book. Have your hips in the center of your mat lengthwise. And we're going to make our way to our back. So you want to keep your head on the mat here. Soles of the feet on the floor, knees bent. We're going to slowly make our way to our backs. You could have your hands behind you. You could have your hands under the thighs. A little more challenging, you could have your arms free, but slow and controlled, as long as you feel safe. Once you're on your back, bring your arms overhead, point your toes, take a few big breaths into your belly, and let's rock the hips. So make your right leg a little longer than your left, and then your left leg a little longer than the right. Bring your arms out to the side. Bend your knees again so the soles of the feet are on the floor. Your feet will be a little wider than hips width distance. And then looking for water bottles, treat yourself to some windshield wipers. Lowering the knees left to right at whatever pace feels fantastic. Windshield wipers are your low back's best friends most of the time. You've been on your feet a lot or sitting a lot. All of it. It's a great way to get everything moving safely. You decide how far your knees go down, right? They don't have to go all the way to the floor. They can be shallow windshield wipers. Whatever feels good on your body. Next time your knees are to the left, hang out there and turn your face to the right. Again, letting everything be heavy here. If you have a different variation you'd like with your legs, go right ahead. Some of you might want to stack them to the side. You might even cross that right leg under or straighten the right leg. Whatever feels nice in your body today. Otherwise, just the knees over to the left from windshield wipers are great too. Nice time to check in with your jaw. Make sure you're not holding tension there. One more breath here. With care, switch sides. So knees up and to the right, face to the left, everything heavy and supported. Big breaths. One more breath here. Bring everything back to center and bring your knees into the chest. Some of you might want to go into a happy baby. Either one is right. And then just maybe if it feels okay on your back, a little rock side to side here. Using your body weight to massage your low back and your kidneys. Might feel nice to flex and point the feet, spread the toes a little bit. Take a little inventory of your body. If there's another pose or another movement that would feel good before you're ready to relax for a few minutes, go right ahead. Otherwise, find your Shavasana. Feet hips width distance, toes hang out to the side, arms at your side. Usually palms up, but if palms down feels nicer on your shoulders, that's a-okay. And just let everything be supported. Supported and soft is your goal. Begin to deepen your breath and introduce a little bit of movement into your body. Using your arms to support you, slowly make your way up to a comfortable seat. Take your time. Thank you so much for joining me today to share your practice and your energy with me and with each other. Peace starts within. That means the whole world benefits of it because you took the time for yoga today. The light in me honors the light in you. Namaste. Thank you so much.